Alright everyone, some time ago I pointed out that the left was moving towards corporatism, and today you see that on full display in regards to the Time Warner merger thing with AT&T. What's happened is Time Warner and AT&T want to become one company. AT&T Time Warner, I think, or something. It's like an idiocracy when all the corporations keep converging until they got like 10 words in their name, and there's like 5 corporations left in the whole fucking world or something. That's sort of what we're moving towards. Now, Trump's DOJ has said, oh, yeah, the merger's fine, but you're going to have to sell, but Time Warner needs to get rid of CNN first. It has to be sold off to some other company, because otherwise you become a monopolistic media entity. You can't have the merger because of anti-monopoly laws. Now, that's true. I would personally say AT&T and Time Warner, because of the span of their companies, at least Time Warner is already basically a monopoly anyway. The idea that a company can have its hands in literally every fucking industry and enormous market shares therein in some cases, and not be monopolistic just because it's diversified its portfolio of holdings, is the reason why some of these companies, they have 30 or 40 different large sub-brands. That's really one of the biggest problems within our country. Instead of having a company, and the company is just, it's a big media firm, or it's a big social media firm, or it's a big hardware firm, or it's a big firm that sells, you know, dongles, or we sell screws and buttons or something. Instead of that, no, all of those companies are owned by a parent company, technically semi-separate from them, like a Time Warner, and so it's not subject to those anti-monopoly laws. It allows them to become monopolistic without technically looking monopolistic on paper. Personally, I think that we should expand our anti-monopoly laws, and the antitrust laws too, because these groups coordinate together quite frequently, and smash them apart to restore real capitalism to some semblance of proper order. You might end up getting more competition, therefore you get more growth, more competition for workers as opposed to competition for just the jobs, balance things out, make things a little more lucrative for the average American. By the way, we've done this before. It did actually work at the time. It was combined with too much social welfare, but the trust-busting side and anti-monopoly side worked quite well. But the Justice Department is saying, no, you can't merge unless CNN's sold off. So because Trump and CNN have feuded, and because Trump's DOJ is the one making this decision, I see right now liberals saying, "Whoa, this is impeachable. It's a horrible thing. It's an attack upon the free press." How is it an attack upon the free press? He's not saying, oh, you have to get rid of CNN. It has to stop existing. No, it has to be sold to another company. The firm will still operate the same way it does now. It just won't be owned by Time Warner because Time Warner is about to fucking absorb a gargantuan company. And it would be too large within one of those major corporate fields, which is media and communications. As far as that goes, it would become monopolistic. It would have too large a market share in and of itself as one company. Now, the left is being pro-corporation here. You're talking about a massive corporate merger that'll probably, by the way, cause an uproar with some of the, as they try to consolidate things together, a lot of people get fired or they'll get their wages cut. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. And by the way, their CEO will be making 6, figures a day or something. And you're trying to tell me you hate Trump so badly. You're reaching so much, so far, and so desperately for something that you can actually determine is impeachable that you're listening to George W. Bush's ethics chief taking him seriously on this and declaring it impeachable for anti-monopoly laws to be actually gone through with. Because CNN is involved and Trump doesn't really like CNN. You know, by the way, in the past, he was a good friend to CNN. He's rubbing elbows with the people there. Same with MSNBC. It was Fox that Trump wasn't really a party to. Did you know that in the past? But now you think he's far right, of course, so this becomes a problem. This is an anti-monopoly law being enforced. Look, if they didn't enforce the anti-monopoly law and anybody but Trump was in that office, you would cry holy fury. By the way, you'd be right and say, well, you know, corporations are taking over the United States. It's they'll control all media at some point. Yeah, that's the fucking point. So Trump decides not to play up to a mega corporation merger and actually enforce the anti-monopoly laws, and people who are supposedly far left, they're the ones that have a problem with it. Yeah, Occupy you are not. The left has gotten so far away from the stop the war zeitgeist Occupy movement sort of period. They've gotten so fucking confused. You're not on the left. You're practically a reactionary. You're a pro-corporate. You're pro-Cold War. You're pro-surveillance. And you think that government actually looks out for you and provides good things for you and is a good thing. You're not a leftist. You can call yourself, oh yeah, I'm a proud liberal. You're not a liberal. You are a past a neoconservative. You're way out there. You're just a total authoritarian, bootlicker, basically. You love the jackboot. It's on your neck. You've got a corporation that's spent years and years lying to you nonstop, and because it happens to have a little bit of a problem with the sitting president that you have determined as a bigot, largely because of CNN's own reporting, by the way. Did you notice that? You think that's coincidental, by the way? All of a sudden, then they're your friend. Yeah, their propaganda from the past years doesn't matter. It's okay. Yeah, support the Iraq War. If you question George W., you're an evildoer, the throw him in Gitmo. Surveillance, oh, that's not a problem because Obama's president now. Surveillance is fine. We can trust him. Oh, yeah, let's go bomb Syria. Let's go bomb Yemen and Pakistan. War is it's not really a war anyway because, it's covert. It's only drone-based. You can kill 50,000 people as long as they don't see it coming. It's not a war somehow. Come on. That's not leftism. If it is, you're totally lost. The multiculturalism end, the hey, borders suck end, that's enough to piss a lot of people off. What about those of us who, okay, we're not really, part of that new right mentality, and we're going after you for other things. What about us? We're going to go after the so-called left too on surveillance and warmongering and corporatism. It's not capitalism either. And in the same breath, that they have apparently no problem with a monopolistic merger that involves basically the gobbling up of a quarter of all the legacy media into one fucking corporate entity. They have no problem with that. But at the same time, they hate capitalism, while blaming capitalism for those same corporate mergers that now they are for. You're really confused. Like, I don't understand, man. You're like, you should see you, man. Like, you need to go out in the woods and smoke some dope, man. I think you should go back to being hippies. You made more sense when you were on all sorts of drugs. Honestly, the left made more sense at that point. You listen to some crazy hippie wizard grandpa looking dude from Woodstock rambling about the man. It makes way more sense than what the social justice warriors are saying today. You should go harvest some mushrooms or something. Disclaimer, of course. I say that in jest. I mean, come on. You're criticizing the DOJ for enforcing anti-monopoly laws. How far you've fallen. I can't wait to see Colbert weigh in. Oh, Trump hates Trumpy Wumpy, 2 scoops. He hates CNN so much, he won't even let a massive corporate merger go through that would basically endanger the fabric of even the shitty legacy media. You think it's bad now? It'll be 10 times more propagandistic because, of course, you will have created the most gargantuan legacy media entity in the face of the friggin' world. There won't be any competition for it. It can just basically say and do exactly what it wants. Anti-monopoly laws, we don't need those. Drumpf has to fail. Drumpf says that monopolies are bad, therefore they are good. If Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said, hey, I think we should negotiate now with North Korea, like, yeah, we're going to back off, I'm going to talk to Kim Jong-un, we'll hammer something out, some deal making. They would say, ah ha ha, this must have something to do with the fact that the Russians are involved with North Korea now. His Russian allies, friends, and masters told him to back off. Wahaha. We know now we should nuke North Korea. We should immolate every fucking person in the whole peninsula. That's what they would say. They hate him so pathologically. They're so stuck and fixated. And the funny thing is, on this story especially, the reason why they hate him so badly is because of the reporting of groups like CNN, which now by default has propagandized the so-called left to the point at which it's using them as a sort of shield to try to prevent itself from being screwed by the DOJ because it wants to be monopolistic. That's how confused and crazy the situation really has become. That's about all. Peace out.